Hey, good afternoon. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Welcome again. My name is Osazi Thompson. This is my beautiful wife, Antoinette Thompson. So today we're going to continue in talking about vision and purpose.
Okay, vision and purpose is what we're talking about today. And last time we asked the question, how do I change my paradigm? We talked about how do you renew your mind, right? We talked about those things. So we're going to expound on those things today, get into further detail, and let's learn today.
All right. So last time we talked about understanding that we are three-part being, right? We are spirit, soul, and body. If you didn't get that, if you go back, you can go back and we keep it posted. Go and look at the last one we did from Tuesday. And so we talked about that. And then we went into a little bit about the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind works, how it really is designed to keep us in alignment with our belief system. What is it that you believe about yourself, right? Before we can really dive into purpose and destiny and meeting those big goals that maybe you have or maybe you don't, and you can develop them, we really have to really talk about this subconscious mind, because a lot of times it has to do with our image, how we see ourselves. And if God is calling us to really big things, really big goals, really big accomplishments, but we see ourselves small, or we see ourselves as maybe inferior, insignificant in some way, then we have to deal with that first. Because the worst thing you can do is get on a platform or get to a level that you thought you were ready for, but inside you really weren't ready for it, and it crumbles on you. So a part of what we're doing is sharing wisdom and insight about how to win in life, how to win in purpose, how to accomplish your vision, and understanding that we start at the foundation with the subconscious mind, with understanding that it is indeed as we think in our heart, that's what we'll become. And so we have to renew our mind. We talked about paradigms last time. Paradigm, simply, if you remember from last time on Tuesday, paradigm means pattern or example. So what patterns or example do you have for your life? What patterns or example have you experienced in your life that you continue to perpetuate over and over and over and over again? And so we renew our mind by repetition. We talked about that last week too. Repetition deepens the impression, and whatever's impressed must be expressed. Whatever is impressed must be expressed. So if you want to see something different, if you want to do something different, you're going to have to begin to put that into pattern, or put that, into repetition in your life, right? If you want to live a healthy life, if you want to be fit, then you're going to have to repetitiously eat right, get enough sleep, get an activity or exercise or routine in your life. And so understanding that we are self-programmable. What is it that you have as a vision for your life? And are you moving in that direction, not just in word, but in deed? Because the secret to our success in life is revealed in our routine. What is your routine? What is it that you see yourself doing that maybe you're saying it, or maybe you even wrote it out on paper, right? But you're not doing, you're not practicing it, you're not applying it. You're going to have to practice that, right? I was sharing with my daughter, because now she's running track. And so she was like, wow, I want to be fast. I want to get faster. I want to do this. I want to do that with the track. And I said, well, you're going to have to continue to condition your body and to practice that in and day out. The same way when I was in the Marine Corps, I didn't start out loving running, right? How many of y'all like to run? That's good. But I had to begin to repetitiously every day run. And that's what we were doing. That's what we did. I would say for the most of boot camp, we were running, a lot of running in sand, a lot of running up hills, a lot of running. And what that did was condition my body so that after 3 months of that, I could knock out 5 miles like a champ, like nothing. Why? Because it was repetition. The same thing with our life, the same thing with our relationships, the same thing with us and our money. Everything is built on this idea of shifting your paradigm. If you see yourself as in lack or broke, you'll continue to perpetuate that. If you see yourself wealthy, if you see yourself healthy, what's going to happen is you're going to begin to go in that direction. You're going to begin to make decisions that are in alignment with what you see about yourself. And so it has to deal with that subconscious mind. And the way we do that, again, is through repetition. So we're self-programmable. That means that if something is wrong in our life, if something is not right with what we see in our life, we have the ability to change it. You're not subject to situations, circumstances, conditions. You can change that. You have the ability to change that. You have the ability to do something different. You have the ability to go somewhere different. You can be selective about the environments that you choose to be in. You can be selective about the people who you call friend, who you call your associates, who you are around all the time.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
So getting the best out of life, we have to see ourselves as operating as the best. You cannot be a top performer in life and whatever you do if you keep seeing yourself as average, if you keep seeing yourself as, I'm okay, if you keep seeing yourself as inferior or insignificant. No, I'm not talking to you about you have to be cocky or arrogant,
right?
But be confident in what God has placed in you. You're going to have to find out what God has put in you. You're going to have to find out how God has wired you. And the way you do that is by spending time with him, spending time in his word, talking to him. Get up early in the morning and just spend some quiet time with God. Just maybe read a couple scriptures and maybe something that stands out to you and begin to think about that and meditate that and see yourself in that place and see yourself going far and see yourself breaking out of where you are right now. You may not be in a good place right now. You may be in a good place right now. But let me tell you this, wherever you are, you have the ability to change that. You can do something about it. You can change your the outcome or the narrative of your life. How are you seeing yourself? What is the storyline that you are playing back and forth in your mind about your life, about what you can do and about where you can go? Everything is based on that. And so if you want to begin to see different results, you're going to have to do something different, right? I used to rent, but right before my wife and I got married, I say, no, I want to be an owner. I want to have ownership. And so what did I do? I went out and I began to take the first steps of that. I didn't just think about it, right? I hired a realtor, right? I went and had a conversation with lenders, right? I had excellent credit. I got great credit. I got top score. I got really good financing. And so what I did is I began to go out, right? Break out of my comfort zone. I hadn't really seen ownership in my family like that. So I had to break out of my box. I had to go and look at properties, look at houses, look at these properties. Why? Because I knew in my mind that I'm going to be an owner. I'm going to own something. And what happened? The net effect of that is I began to own. I closed on a property, and my wife and I moved into our first property together. And that was about 16, 17 years ago. So what happens is you have to condition yourself to that. And we've been in a house pretty much ever since then. Why? Because I changed my narrative. I changed my perspective. I changed my viewpoint of living. I say, I don't think I need to be renting. I think I should be owning. And it's no different than saying, I don't believe I should be sick. I should be well. You got to begin to change that mindset, change that and not only change the mindset, because what happens is whatever the mind conceives, the body will achieve. You probably heard that before. And so you're going to have to conceive something in your mind that's worth something, that's worth something big.
Right.
Don't keep thinking small. Don't keep thinking mediocre. Don't keep thinking average. Think big. Think beyond what your family have done. Think beyond what your peers in your industry may have done. Think beyond what you think you can do. And you say, Osazi, how am I do that? The word of God. It's going to stretch your thinking. It's going to stretch your capacity. It's going to stretch your imagination. Why? So that you can come into the vision that God has for you, one, and then two, you can actually fulfill his purpose for your life.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You said quite a bit there, and I'm just coming back to how we talked about renewing the mind to something different. And as you expand that vision and, believe for great things, you have to renew your mind to something different. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the things that we did early on in our marriage, and we didn't even really know, what we were doing like that to the degree that we are now, but we went out to an exclusive area. And we went to an open house. Mm-hmm. And this area is an exclusive area. The house had 5 to 6 bedrooms, beautiful, practically.
Is this when I was selling real estate?
I don't know.
Is one of the ones we went to?
No. Okay. I don't know. The Johnson Street property?
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, the point of the matter is we went to this house, right? We went to the open house. Mm-hmm. And when we drove up, I was like, wow, look at this house. So when it was time to get out of the car and go into the house with the realtors, it's like I almost froze. It was the weirdest thing. It was like I was scared to go into the house.
Pause right there. Now you see that? You see, we were on the property, about to go in the property to preview it. And it was something inside of my wife at that time that was trying to hold her back. Now, physically, she can get out of the car and go, but mentally in her mind, in some point, she didn't see herself as being able to maybe attain that, or maybe to deserve it. I don't know. Explain it.
You know what? I really don't know how to explain it. I do know that the house was over $1 million. It was like 1.2, 1.3 million, something like that. Mm-hmm. But it was like when we were on the way to the house, I was bold, I was courageous. It was just like I had dressed up and everything. Like, yeah, we're about to go see this house. We're standing on new territory. We're taking ground. We're putting our foot on the land. And it's like I was just encouraged, ready to do it. But when we got there, I don't know what happened.
That's because the image hadn't been built at that time.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Sometimes we can say something or even write it on paper, write the vision, make it plain. Mm-hmm. We do that. But if we have not built up the image inside of us of that being us, of that person being us, then what happens is we'll begin to engage in self-sabotaging behavior. Yeah. We'll begin to experience what's called approach avoidance, where when you're making your way to the threshold of crossing over into where you should be, if that image is not built, you're going to sabotage yourself. You're going to revert back. And so we want to help you to build up that image by wisdom so that you can not only attain the vision, but you can move into fulfilling your purpose in life.
And it's something you said that when you said reverting back. Mm-hmm. And I think about that experience. It was like I reverted back inside to what I was familiar with. It was just like, you don't belong in this $1.2-1.3 million home. It was just like, it was a war, almost like a battle inside of me, to the point that when we were touring the house with the realtor, it's like you were asking questions and, making comments on the house. And it was like, almost like I was tiptoeing on eggshells because I just felt like I didn't belong there. And I just couldn't believe the reaction that I had because I was so confident, on the way there. I was confident online looking at the house, but when it came to it, it's just like, wow. So I guess I'm just saying this to say, if you do have, if you're breaking out of your comfort zone and, going onto new territory, expanding your vision, that it's important to put some feet to your faith.
Yeah.
You can't just, look at things on the internet and look at vision boards and write it down in a journal and, do all of those things. You have to actually get out into the environment of where you're believing that you want to be. If you're believing for a luxury vehicle, You need to step it up a notch from just the basic car dealerships, and you need to go, to that Bentley dealership. You need to go, to the Maserati or whatever the dealerships. You need to go. If it's a, BMW or whatever it is, you need to actually physically, go to these places.
Yeah. I remember, and I hope you guys don't take this as like a bragging. And we just sharing something to encourage you.
Right.
When I got the Range Rover Sport, what was that? 2015 or so.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost unbelievable when I drove off the lot, because I'd always believed for this. I really liked the vehicle, but like my wife said, when the rubber met the road and I actually got there, I got in it and driving, I could hardly believe that I had attained it. But God was showing me, listen, when you put your faith to it and you not only just believe it, but like I said, you put your faith is the action of belief, right? It's like a two-sided coin. It's like you can believe one thing, but faith is the action of that. Because if you really believe something, you're going to make a move on it. You're going to do it.
Yep.
You're going to move out on it. And like my wife was saying, if you really believe in God for bigger and better, begin to put yourself in those environments. Begin to go in those areas, in those arenas, in those spheres, right? Get acquainted with it. I remember when I was selling those T-shirts, I had a limited liability designer T-shirt company. Mm-hmm. And I went to the merchandise mart. For those of you who may not be in the Chicagoland area, Merchandise Mart is a huge retail, like a showroom for not only apparel, but other housing, bedding, those types of things, like a big showcase. And so I went there, and I never will forget, it was a guy who, first of all, I got in there, barely got in there, right? Because you got to have credentials and you got to show them this and that and whatever. I got in there and I got on the elevator, and the guy said, listen, and I didn't know this guy. I still don't know him to this day. He said, you got to walk in there like you own the place. This guy knew me from no one. But when I got there and I began to take into thought what he was talking about, I said, you're right. I belong here.
Yeah.
And some of you watching this right now, there's some places that you felt that you've been trapped out of, but you really belong there. I want to encourage you to build up your faith, build up that image that God has made in you of who you really are, and begin to walk it out. Begin to go in that place. Some of you all, you've been living well below the level of lifestyle that you should be living. Why? Because you have not built that in your mind. You gotta renew your mind to this. You gotta renew your mind to the vision that God has given you. Sometimes He gives it only to us in little snapshots. Why? Right. Because we couldn't handle the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Because the idea of moving into multiple millions, even billions of dollars. I know we say that all the time, but think about it. Wait till you get your first 100,000. Wait till you get your first, 500,000, and you get moving into that. It's almost like my wife when we approached that $1 million property, and like me when I got my Range Rover Sport years ago. You're going to have to renew your mind to it. And what happens if you don't renew your mind to it, you begin to engage in self-sabotaging behavior. You begin to experience what's called approach avoidance. As you're in it, you begin to revert back. And we don't want that to happen to you. And so now we're going to go a little bit more into vision. But wait a minute. We don't want to waste. We don't want to keep you too long. So we're going to pick up on vision next time.
All right. I was ready to hear more, but well, praise God for that.
Yeah. So what I'd like you to do, we do have some resources available to you. My wife will post it in the comment. It's a link tree. And so once you tap that link, it's going to send you to all the resources that we have available for you as to aid you as you walk in your purpose, as you want to reach your destiny, you want to fulfill the vision that you have for your life. Go ahead, click the link. All you got to do is click the link, and it's going to show you some resources that we have available for you. So this is Osazi Thompson and Antoinette Thompson, my beautiful wife, here helping you to win by wisdom. Remember,
if you want to contact us by email, you can email us winningbywisdom@gmail.com. Winningbywisdom@gmail.com. And we want to hear about your faith exercises. We want to hear about how you are overcoming these different things within you, and how you are really walking out and exercising your faith. We want to hear from you. So you can once again email us winningbywisdom@gmail.com.
All right. And so remember, get wisdom, but with all you're getting, get an understanding. See you guys next time.